Welcome to another episode of Mind Your Business, the podcast. My name is Abby, and each week I will be chatting to a different independent business owner about the story behind their business journey and how they built their brand. Enjoy the episode. Hello and welcome to another episode of Mind Your Business. Now this week I'm joined by Maxie Reynolds. Hiya.
Hello.
Hi. And this is a bit of a different one because we're actually recording this episode as well for YouTube. Awkward wave. So if you're listening to this, why don't you jump over and watch us as well? You can see us. So you're here, Maxie, because you've got your first book coming out this Friday.
Nervously excited.
Yeah.
Or as I said on my own Instagram earlier, shitting myself. I don't know what I've done. Why did I do this?
There must be a bit of mad week for you then.
It's nuts. It's I knew it was all coming and yet I'm still not prepared.
Yeah,
which
just hit you.
Like adulthood.
Yeah, totally.
You knew it was coming and then bang. It's
what have I done?
It's a trick, don't do it. So I've got sort of billboards out this week that say out now, but it's not out now, it's out on the 29th. I don't know how that happened. My computer's broken, so I have no copy of said book. I have I can't send the cover to people, I can't upload it to, sites that require it to be uploaded. And we'll get into at some point at the end how much I hate Apple. But not enough to get a Windows computer. Obviously I'd rather a typewriter. But I still do not like Apple this week at least. We'll see.
Making your life even
really
harder.
Really hard. Yes.
So why don't you we'll go back to the beginning,
okay,
and kind of tell us what sort of led you up to this point in your life where you're releasing the book.
So you're gonna have to synthesize a little bit because there, nothing sort of happens in isolation, and I can't pinpoint a lot, but looking at it on a whole, I can try.
Go for it
to help people understand what has happened. Okay, so basically, I don't know where to start. Okay, so I maybe a good starting place is when I was about 14, 15. I became what I like to call a social nuisance. I was just a nightmare. I was running with, not the best crowds, all good people separately, but just as a crowd, we were a nightmare for our local communities. We just got up to no good, and I almost revelled in it. I enjoyed it. I wanted to be like that, and I'm not sure why. And I was for a few years. I just got up to mischief, superficial, and please don't let anybody find out about that mischief. Arrested sort of mischief. Oh dear, that's not good. So then what happened was I got to about 17, 18, and actually I met who I thought was going to be the sort of love of my life, my adult life. And his name was Mark, and he was a fair bit older than me, just about 10 years older than me at the time. And he said to me that he wouldn't entertain this sort of relationship if I didn't have my shit together. So I kind of quickly scrambled and tried to get it together. So I had to get a job, a real job, and blah blah blah. And upon getting a real job, I discovered I did not like that. So I was like, what can I do? And I'd worked in everything up until that point, in bars and as cleaner and everything that you do, trying to make my own money, just selling things, just a lot of different just things.
Yeah.
And I'd gotten this job in an optician's, and I just thought, I hate it. What am I doing here? So I started to look at things that would let me travel, and eventually I sort of found that I'm going to go offshore. And with a little bit of help from him and a little bit of help from my mum, I did eventually go offshore. And then, sort of just to box that relationship ended because it's hard, and I was young, and a lot of different reasons. And then what happened was I worked offshore, and I loved it. It was amazing. It was really good. And whilst working offshore, I studied computer science, and I don't know why. I think just out of a hatred for myself, because it was indescribably hard for me.
That's
do.
not an easy thing to get into.
I was like, the science of computers, they turn on. So I was like, binary. So I don't understand. So yeah, it's the simplest of things passed me by. But anyway, I got there and I got that degree. And at the same time as working offshore, I met at the time, until very recently, my husband. So we're splitting up at the moment.
Yeah.
And he was just another one of those people that helped me. And he will have sort of this everlasting effect on my life, because he really, really did, is one of the main reasons that I've been able to do most of the things that I've done. I'm not saying that I wouldn't have done things, it's just I couldn't tell you what they are. Obviously I didn't live that life. He just really helped the sort of linear thing that I'm trying to explain not very well. So I in Los Angeles with him. He takes me to America. We are there. We live a few different cities and states, and we eventually settle in Los Angeles. And when I'm in Los Angeles, I start trying different things like acting. Terrible idea. Not good at that. I'm really not good at that. I got into some stunt work. Again, it was actually through acting, and I built an app at some point, and it was like a hide and seek app. I thought it was like going to be the coolest thing ever, and then Pokemon Go came and sort of blew the water. I was like, no, I was actually crying. It was one of those like overwhelming moments in life when I was like, my life's work for the past 4 months has been destroyed. And I also, I tried just different things that I wasn't particularly good at, but I was able to do, and that's again one of those things. You just have to take every opportunity that comes your way. You really have to. It's besides the help I get from people, sometimes ask for, sometimes not, taking those opportunities is like central to everything that could possibly be in your life. Like, I'm never just gonna be sitting and opportunities are just going to come and find me. There's this whole mixture of things that happen, and you have to be able to see the opportunity and take it, and I always do. It's just the one thing that I'll live by forever. I take the opportunity. And
so it's kind of like, if you had the opportunity to be like a stunt woman, like you say, most people would be like, well, no.
No,
I don't know how to do that.
I'm like, I've forward tumbled before, and I think I can do this. That is.
So did you just like jump into those things?
Yeah, it was exactly like that. Just jumped in, and eventually, I got into ethical hacking, and again, that was just I just jumped into it. And there are a few reasons as well that I can just jump into these things. So one is that I was always told that I could. My mum just instilled it, and she just said it every day. You can do anything you want to do. She failed to mention that it's hard. But she did tell me that, and that has really, I've kept that with me and always will. Then I think the other main factor is that I don't have the traditional sort of confines, or the traditional, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm definitely looking for a word. The traditional sort of things that, responsibilities. I don't have all of the same responsibilities. I don't have a house that I have to pay for. I don't have children. I don't even have pets anymore. I don't have a husband now, even though he, never held me back. He was like the bolstering thing. So I can do whatever I want to do, and it amazes me to see women do both. I don't have that capacity. I don't have it within me to look after another life and do these things. I think that's too hard for me. There are women that can do it. There are men that can do it too. There are families that can do it. I can't, and so I've chosen not to until this point anyway. So all of that sort of led me to here, because to jump back on, I got into ethical hacking, went down to Australia to learn that. PwC gave me sort of a great chance to be on their cybersecurity team, and I got into all sorts of trouble there, but it was semi-legal because they've got a good legal department that's going, she's new, she didn't mean to turn off the city's water. I was like, oh god. So I was down in Perth, and I hated it. I hated working in an office, and I should have known that because I tried it not 12 years before, but I just haven't been socialised that way. So it's just really difficult for me. So I'm just sitting there going, right, you've got a book. Why don't you just put that out?
Mm-hmm.
And I reread that book and I went, well, that is the biggest pile of shit that is this side of the world. And I closed it and I just put it away. And I was
Forget about that.
absolutely not. Like, I'd rather walk into the middle of the sun than have someone read that. So I go back to Los Angeles and I'm with my husband again, and I set up my own business for ethical hacking.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important to say, especially just because of the nature of this podcast, for me, setting up a business is not a massive endeavour because I'm not scared of it, and I don't want that to sound sort of like condescending.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't have that same fear
of sort of failure and putting yourself out there,
and I don't think that I need to know everything. I think I'll reach out for help if I need it, or I need to know my business well. I don't need to know the nature of business well. I need to know some ins and outs, but I've got enough people around me that I just turn to them and ask, or I read about it, or I come on and I find a podcast and I find people like me. Well, no, actually I find better people than me talking about these things and try to take from them. If I heard me on a podcast, I'd skip it. So I think, so I go over it and I'm not scared to set it up, but I did not anticipate the rate that this business grew at. It was unbelievable. So my business over in Los Angeles caters to high risk, high profile individuals that require cybersecurity for either communication or just they've got a healthy dose of paranoia and they want to make sure that hackers not in their system, or that they haven't been hacked before, or that someone isn't spying on them, etc, etc. They want to... Ethical hacking, for those of you who sort of don't know, is basically, as a really shit analogy, it's me breaking into your house and telling you how I got in, but I'm not just going to come in through the windows or the door, because that's how everyone's going to get in. I'm going to try and find an obscure way into your house, and then, you know, essentially take photos of me in there. That is the best analogy I have for ethical hacking. I break into computer systems, I prove that I've been in there, I tell you what I can find, and I'm a lot nicer than a normal non-ethical hacker, because they will just take your stuff, whether it's your financial information or photos to bribe you with, it doesn't matter. You're
just kind of finding those weak points and then they can sort of fix them.
Finding those vulnerabilities, exploiting them, and then sometimes fixing them. Sometimes people don't want me to fix them, sometimes they do. So that flourished very quickly, and I was employing people far more talented than I am and will ever be. It's just that's the way it is. So I was starting to think, right, okay, well, what are you going to do now? And I looked at this book again. It just kept creeping back in, and I read it, I rewrote it, I sent it to family and friends in Scotland, not in Los Angeles. That's for two distinct reasons. One, Scottish humour and sort of truth-telling skills will get you a lot further than that sort of nice, very
telling you what you want to hear.
Los Angeles attitude. Like, no, it's great, definitely put it out. And I'm like, we both know that's shit. So I sent it to people here and I got really good feedback. And so I kind of juggled it again and decided to release. So I'm just going to preempt all your questions and not let you talk on your own podcast. That's essentially what's happening. So basically I had written this book, and it was sort of it was meant to have an edgier tone, like how in the why stop swearing now? How the fuck did I survive that? But actually, when I looked back and rewrote, it kind of took on this tone of wasn't growing up great, even with all of these things. Even the mischief that you got up to, or your parents, when you think your parents are trying to ruin your life, isn't it amazing to grow up? And it was for me, looking back now as a child. It's always, did not like.
It's always like that. You think it's the worst time ever, and you look back and you've got all these funny stories.
Exactly. So the book sort of took on this nostalgic tone. And that's what I'm hoping for people to sort of get from this book. It's just that sort of the laughter, and to take them back to their own childhood and think, oh my god, yeah, it was great. And you look at kids growing up today, and I mean, it's a different childhood for sure, but they will grow up as well and they'll think it was brilliant. But it's just, when you're a child, you don't understand the trap of adulthood, so you just don't get it. And
you're just dying for it, and then it happens and you're like...
you want to be an adult, and you're doing things that, like, I moved out at 15 because I wanted to be an adult. And my mum's like trying to, you know, pull me back, and like, you won't like it out there, and I'm like, I will. And I go out there, and a few years later I'm like, Mum,
you just start paying for your own stuff, and you're like, no.
You don't have to ask for snacks, you have to make them yourself. You don't have to ask for money, you have to make it yourself.
You have to make dinner every night.
I live off of biscuits. There's so many pitfalls in adulthood that, you know, that's what it is. But again, I've always found that in stages, I've looked back over my 20s, and, you know, I was the most insecure person in my 20s that it's possible to be. And I look back, but it was still the most fun. And so I think I'll get to 40 and look back at my 30s and go, oh, gimp. But also, God, wasn't that a lot of fun? And I just hope it keeps going like that. That's my sort of one hope. I feel like at the time it's always the same. It is. But then when you look back, you never remember the bad bits. You're just like, oh my God, how fun was that? And one of my like life skills is rose tinting things. So I will sort of, at the time, I'm not I'm really not a pessimist. I'm usually quite optimistic. But I just, when you're going through some things, sometimes they feel a bit heavy, but it takes maybe a few months for me. I'm like, I'm so glad that happened because, you know, insert here. So that is definitely, I hope that when I'm 90, that like, you know, I've lived the best life I could, because my first 31 years here have been amazing. Like, I've loved them. You've lived like so many lives already. You've done so much stuff. I've tried to make the most of it. And we'll see for the next sort of 30 years if I can do the same, and then maybe I'll slow down at some point. That's the plan. I think it's something you have to actively do. You have to, or it's so easy just to like slip into normal life and like you say, 9 to 5 in an office, and it's just not for me. It's not for me. It might make, there are people that you know, that sort of regimented schedule they enjoy. I don't. No. And also, my mum she will never be able to listen to this, but because I look at my mum, and she has tried lots of different things. She had a lot of energy when she was younger, and she tried a lot of different things, but she had me, and so she couldn't, you know, scoot down to London or move to Australia or go to Los Angeles. She couldn't go offshore. She couldn't do any of those things. She had me. But I look at her now, and I'm just like, my mum's only 47, 48, and I'm thinking, you've got another sort of 50 years, hopefully, maximum, but hopefully, on this planet. Like, get up and go and do things. And she's like, nah, I just watch you. In her defence, she does have MS. But she just found that out. You know, but I've watched her and gone, no, I don't want that. I do not want that. And we also have different needs. I'm sort of ambivert. I sit right in the middle. I'm not an extrovert. I'm not an introvert. My mum is a pretend extrovert. She's much better socially than I am. She's really good, but she loves being in her house by herself, just chilling, and I hate that. I hate it. I have to just be out and around people. I don't have to speak to you, but I just have to be around people. So I would never do well sitting. Top myself. See, I like that, but I couldn't live myself. No. See, if I'm alone for like a night, I'm like, oh my God, I like slipping into like deep depression. Pulling you back from the grip of it when your boyfriend comes home. Literally, it was like away down in Newcastle a couple of months ago, and I was like, oh my God, like this is it. The end is nigh. And it's been like 2 days, and I'm like calm down, you're alright. But nah, I couldn't be. So but I'm not like an extrovert, like you say, like, you have been out and about. I'm not like that, but I just can't be by myself. But what do you really find that does you any good or bad? Is it a neutral thing, or you know? I
Well, this has actually really helped me, just being able to like chat to people more, because I used to be really introverted, like couldn't speak to people, like it was the worst thing ever.
I can't even imagine that. Okay.
Literally when I started this, like 6 months ago, I was like couldn't speak to anybody. I was like the most socially awkward person in the world, and that's why I just kind of chucked myself in.
Oh, good for you. See, so it is possible.
Yeah.
You should do a whole thing on that. I would love to hear about that.
Oh my god, before my first episode, my boyfriend will tell you I was like ill. I never slept for like 2 days. I was like so ill. I went to the women's house, she's a pal of mine, and I was like doing shots before I went. I got there and then she was giving me gin, and I was like, okay. I was like steaming for the first one.
So 2 things. One, what made you why overcome that sort of fear and anxiety? And 2, I have the exact same thing about cameras. I can't have my picture taken. I hold my breath when I go squint. Like I've got like, I look like I'm having a stroke. So I've got fears.
You don't. I've seen the pictures that you've been taking for this, and you don't.
No, you should. So I've got. We are going back to that question. Actually, we have to, because people are going to want to know that. Welcome to Maxie's podcast. I hate it. I can't explain. I get so nervous. I feel like my back sees up. I can't breathe. It's horrible, but there are apps out there that fine tune your face, and that's what I've been doing.
Oh my god, I need that, because I have the biggest face in any pictures. Next to everyone else, I've got this big like moon face. I'm always like having to go like, behind, further back.
If we could procreate, we'd have the cutest children, because I have the longest face. Like I look like Skeletor.
I have like the biggest.
We could maybe balance out here.
And I always think like, oh, I look alright, and then I picture it, I'm like, oh my god. I really want to get like personal branding pictures done and stuff, but I'm like, I've got that fear in the front of the camera like you. I just turn into like
that's me. I feel exactly that stance. But do you have? I don't have it for video. I could sit on video all day long because I just don't care. It's not still. People can't. They can zoom in on it, but my mouth moves so fast and won't get like a straight shot.
I don't know. I'm never really in video. No, I think photos are definitely worse, because like when it's video, it's just you like moving around, and like that's how people see you normally. But when you have to be like,
I can't do it either.
It's horrible. Oh, I hate it.
Okay, so how did you overcome the fear of this?
Honestly, I just did it because I hated being like so shy, and like if I was like in a group, I would like never ever speak. Like I've done some networking before, and I've been like, I'll sit at the back, and like when you have to introduce yourself, I'd be like, my chest would be like honestly pounding, and I just was like, I'm sick. I didn't want this. I'm sick of this.
Oh, I think it's unbelievably common to have that. Like I really do. It's hard to break out of for anyone. I think it really is. So a massive well done. It's one of those things again that I don't think I would be able to break out of. I would be a complete introvert if not for my mum, who sort of taught me the art of being an extrovert. Yeah. So I do understand it to a certain degree, but I just, you know, when I come out of here today, I will cringe at some of the things I've said. I just don't have it in the moment. I don't know if that's the same for you. Yeah, see, the very first episode when I was editing it, I was like, oh my god, this is actually horrendous. But now, like, it's just, this is how I sound like. Like, I talk about shit sometimes, and sometimes I'm like, even though I'm like, shut up, it's not about me. Give the people what they want.
I'm like, this is not about me, this is about the person, but I end up like going on these like tangents. And I'm like, shh.
I honestly, I think it's endearing. Whenever you hear it, like on someone else, you're like, oh, they're adorable.
Like you never think if someone else is saying what you're saying, you wouldn't be like, oh my god,
cringe. You just wouldn't. But I will walk out of here today, I'll sit in my car, I'll get halfway along the road, and I'll go, oh fuck, oh you didn't say that, and then I'll go home, and I swear I will sort of rock in the door and go, Mum, guess what I said? And she'll be like, So yes.
You know, I think you do. Like, if there's something like that you don't like, it is hard, but you can, like you say, you can do anything you want to.
You can. It's a completely mind over matter. There's a sort of this old guy's saying, I'm going to butcher it, don't know his name, but it goes something like, nothing is good, nothing is bad, it's exactly how you perceive it to be. And I do think that that's true for everything. You can frame things to see the good in it, or even sometimes it helps just to see your end goal, and that goes for businesses too. The end goal's not money. That's a sort of immediate return.
Yeah.
The end goal is to provide the service well. I would assume that's what it's always been for me in any business that I've entered. And I've not always managed it, but I've always aimed for it. And so I think if you have a goal and you know you're steadfast in trying to achieve said goal, it sort of knocks those obstacles out the way. You don't see them anymore. And that's another sort of one of the things that I will live by until sort of I, you know, melt or someone kills me, which also may happen, my mum, is that there is no such, no is not an answer. No is a, okay, not this avenue. And I think that's really important for businesses, for anyone, for personal business, it doesn't matter. You can be told no, and you can accept that no, but there will be another way. And you have to find it and not be put off by that initial no.
Totally.
Sometimes a no is a hard knock. I've felt a few no's before and crumbled. But what's happened is I still get that, oh no, I really wanted that to be a yes. The processing time in between is a lot shorter now, so I don't have to come back to myself and readjust. It doesn't take me that long. It's more of a, right, okay, fine, let me move on to the next one. So it's more processing time.
I think it does get easier when you just keep putting your shell out there, and you do get those knocks.
When you just keep hearing no, but
it does totally get easier.
It really does, And
I think it's just like taking like the small steps to kind of start is always the hardest bit.
And shall we go into cliches?
Go for it.
Platitudes. It is one foot in front of the other sort of thing, and it's one step will lead. It's the small wins, isn't it? It's getting there. It's exactly what you've just said. It's one small thing after the other, and you turn around and, you know, with our rose tinted glasses and go, I could do that again.
Yeah, totally.
I'm doing it now with divorce. Like when that first come to me, that news, I crumbled, and for the first month I was in fetal, and for the second month I was raging, and for the third month I kind of moved into acceptance, like okay, I understand, you want to be happy, you will be, I'm so glad for you, let me try and be happy too. And now, you know, a lot of time has passed, or enough time has passed, that I look back and I'm like, I could have another 10 divorces. I probably will. This is fine. That was fine, that was easy. And you know, it's like anything, business, personal, I've always found that I stand at sort of a fork in the road and go, I can go down this sort of angry path, or you know, not very constructive path, or I can go down this one, which is, there's a few obstacles, it's going to be quite hard, but let me just do it anyway. And I did that with every business that I've been involved in, every project, including this one, and with divorce as well. I just sort of stood at that crossroads going, okay, I could be raging at you because you pulled the rug from under my feet, or I can just wish you the best because everybody deserves to be happy, and I can go down this road. It's going to be quite hard because every day I'm going to have to make the decision not to be angry at you.
That must be a hard one.
But it works over time. And I think that's the same in business. You will stand and go, right, okay, I could shortcut here, or I could, you know, give up here, blah blah blah. It's always to take that other route and just get in, just do it, and ask for help. And if help is offered, to take help. And again, just one more time to say it, when help is offered, the answer is never no, because that's not the help I wanted, it's yes. You can't pass by any opportunity. I don't think.
No,
I wouldn't.
No, because you never know. You said never know what's going to happen.
Do not know what's going to happen. God, there are so many. If I hadn't have moved to New Orleans from Los Angeles, I would never have written this book. I did not want to go to the South. I do not like it still, but I can roast into it and I can see what come from it. And I wouldn't be right here now, probably, you know, in all probability I wouldn't be sitting here now if I hadn't have moved to New Orleans in 2015.
Right, so is that when you started writing the book then?
That was sort of the start of it. I had not enough to do. I was raging with just life at the time, I think, and that lasted just for a few weeks, and it passed. It's just that I'd been ripped from this life. I loved living in Los Angeles without what felt like, you know, it wasn't a choice. Go down there and I start writing this book, and you know, we're 4 years later now, and you and I are sitting together, so you just cannot tell where it's going to go. That's, I guess, the nature of life. But once you've worked that out,
it's so mad though, isn't
becomes
it? Like,
easy.
Those little decisions, like if you hadn't decided to do that, I hadn't decided to start this.
Yeah,
we would never be sitting here.
What would we be doing? Yeah, and
it's so weird.
It's, you know, that's the randomness of what is sort of conventionally known as luck. I sit on the fence a bit with luck because I want to believe in that sort of mystical, magical luck, the way we all know it, that conventional sense of you're in the right place at the right time, and you know, I'm not sure if that's the case, but luck in this sense of random chance, yes, you know, you can't doubt that, I don't think. And that has helped me in life because I've seen the opportunities and I've taken them.
Yeah, it could just be as simple as meeting someone.
Exactly.
Saying a chance comment to someone, and then they know someone, and it all like spirals for there.
You know, with everything, there's people must listen and think about their businesses, or if I hadn't have had that thought, seen that thing, you know, whatever it is, with your partner, if I hadn't have been out that night, if I hadn't have been with this friend, so on and so forth. So that randomness is sort of life, and it's unfolding at this sort of zero distance range. You're not in control of it at all. You only make the best out of it. And I think that probably does come into businesses too. It's certainly come into mine, where I had no idea what was going to happen in Los Angeles. I decided I had that control. I decided I'm going to start a business and it was because of not wanting to work for someone else. So I had control of that, but I had no control thereafter. And it unfolded for me that way, with the help of people, with taking opportunities, with networking. And, you know, if you hadn't have overcome that sort of little introvert going, no, don't talk to people, then, you know, it's the same thing. It's chance. It's, it all comes down to that.
Yes, many of the people that I've interviewed already, it's been like that one moment where they could have said like, oh, I've had this idea, but oh, never mind. But they went for it, and then now they've built these huge businesses. And
amazing.
It's mad.
And I think there's something sort of, Scottish people are not going to... This is a very early sentence. There's something very beautiful about that. There's something amazing about, and sort of inspiring about, seeing that with people. They've taken a chance. And, you know, you can't control... You can predict to some level how it will turn out, but it doesn't mean that it will. I mean, God, nothing I've planned in my life has worked out the way I planned it, but it has worked out. And I wonder if that's the same for most people.
I think so.
Yeah,
like at the start of this year, I never thought I would be where I am now.
Did you not?
No.
Let's see, it's like...
No, I had goals at the start of this year which were nothing to do with this, the house, just bought a house, nothing like that, but it's all kind of turned out differently, but good, still good.
Yeah, exactly.
It's mad.
What were your goals with this?
It wasn't even an idea.
Wasn't it? Really? That's amazing.
I had the idea. This is like me just doing things on a real whim. This was an idea in like maybe May, when I was steaming one night.
The most Scottish sentence ever uttered. I love it.
I was just steaming one night and someone said something about it, and I was like, oh well, I'm going to have a podcast and I'm going to interview people and different business owners. And then
it's amazing.
Like a couple of weeks later, I put it out on my Instagram. On like my design one, like, would anyone be interested? And I was like so scared to even put that out. And people were like, oh my god, yeah, like totally. And then like 2 weeks later I set up the Instagram for this, and then like a week later I had my first interview.
So it happened that quickly, and it was that, did you follow the sort of opportunities, or did you create them yourself at the time?
See, I think that was a bit of luck as well, because I had quite big guests on very, very quickly.
Nice.
Like I didn't expect that, but there were some people that I reached out to who I'd like spoken to on Instagram and stuff for a while. But I just like by chance reached out, and then they said yes.
Amazing. See, okay, so you asked for sort of help, or at least create opportunities, and they sort of come to fruition. Is again amazing. If I were sitting at home and listening to that, I'd be like, I want to do that too. You know, I think it is good to hear, because it's probably not the aspect of business or life that's talked about enough.
No.
The asking.
Yeah.
And the not being scared of no's. Get a few, get 10 out the way. In fact, go to people you know are going to tell you no. You get them, so you become somewhat immune to them, and then continue.
Yeah, get them at a level where you're comfortable and it's not going to like make you crumble.
Yeah, going to fetal.
Because did you have a lot of that with the book? Because I imagine that's a lot of putting yourself out there and like approaching people and...
My sort of biggest fear with the book is just putting my family's secrets on display. I think another tangent is coming, but if you imagine your life growing up, is it the same for everyone? Do we all imagine that our life is somewhat normal? You understand you've got like a crazy uncle or grandma or whatever it is, but you think that what's happening in your house is happening in everyone's house. Turns out that's not the way. That normal is not being normal. Normal is your sort of unique set of circumstances, and I had no idea that was the case until I got older, and I'd say to people, oh well, did your mum not hold you upside down at Christmas for and like wallop you for opening your Christmas presents too early? And they're like, no. Like, right, did your mum like, there was all of these sorts of things, like did your mum spend all of your pocket money that you'd had in your room, you saved up and you were like a a sort of child millionaire, and you know, when you've got £50 that you've saved up for a year, I thought I was going to be able to buy a mansion and you know, a new car
set for life.
Yeah, I really did. She took it from me and I never got it back. I've still not forgiven her. So like, that was my biggest fear from the book. Some of the things that people are going to go, what? But I really do think and hope that there will be aspects of it going, oh yeah, I did something like that. There's got to be, like, we had, you know, my mum had warrants out for her. I had to dodge the police going to school, and but she still managed to be a good parent. So you're that sort of, again, parental dichotomy, because on one hand she sounds like a really shit parent, but on the other hand she was chopper mum. She hovered over me trying to get me to do everything that I should do, everything that I could do, and it wasn't until I got to about 15 that I just thought, nah, I don't want anything to do with you, Max. And then I left. Her name was Max too. And I left, and then I came crawling back. I was like, oh, Mum, can you just help me? And she was like, I knew you would return. So no, my biggest fear was putting us all on display for people to judge.
So have your family been alright with that then once they kind of read it? And
absolutely not. No. I was like, I am not, because there's a joke in the book and it's just a joke. Again, okay, so this is a very sort of real example of why this book is not made for an American audience, but us Scots should get it pretty well. In the book I joke at some point that she's like Kate McCann, because she left me in a hotel room by myself. What I'm not pointing out currently is I was about 25, but it was just a sort of, you know, a quip sort of thing. I'd said, well, you know, when Kate and Jerry McCann were out, because they came for their honeymoon to New Orleans, and they went out and they got mugged, right? So I was like, what the fun? And so I put some things like that in, because she's like, one, I was not fat when I was 40. I was like, you were chubby though. And she's like, I'm fat now. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, you gonna take that? I was like, absolutely not. She's like, I was not like Kate McCann. I was like, but Mum, it's a joke. And she's like, are you gonna take that? I was like, no. She's like, right. So there's a few things like that she was not happy about. My stepdad, smoked a lot of weed when I was growing up. A lot of weed. He's very, like, he's one of the smartest men that I know. Top three. I've got sort of odds. My ex-husband's extremely smart, Matthew's extremely smart, and Adam, my stepdad, is extremely smart, but fuck, did he smoke a lot of pot. I walked in the house one day and I was like, Mum, I think Adam's had a stroke. She's like, no, he got really strong weed. I was like, wow. Also, I've never touched drugs. So like, he was like, do you have to put that in there? I'm like, well, yeah, because if you didn't want it in there, you shouldn't have done it. And I think that's maybe something that I'm not ready for, is, you know, parenthood. If you don't want your child to go out telling stories to the world, and I don't mean, you know, the way I'm doing it, I just mean your neighbour or its grandmother, don't do it. And how can you live a perfect life? It's not possible.
Totally.
So you have to hide a lot from them. Have them in a separate house.
That must be such a nightmare, actually.
It really must be. Shh, no, we didn't. I'm like, like, my mum
living really PG lives.
Yeah,
for your kids.
Exactly. my mum. So I think my mum's a deeply private person.
Right.
So I think for her this is hard, but I think, and she's not said this, but I just read it from her and want this to be the case. She's like, well, what else could I do? I've told you you can do anything you want.
Yeah.
You've written a book. I gave you the material for it. What am I going to do? Say, no, you can't put that out there? I think that's what she's thinking.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm a perfect parent because I don't have children. I think I would be the same with my child. I would hope. Otherwise, they'd be buried in the back end. It's got to be one or the other. Like, you can't just say, no, you can't do that. Because, well, you know, you are how that unfolded. Yeah. She's the main point and it's central to the story.
Yeah, she is part of the story.
I couldn't have written around her. You know, otherwise why am I running away? You know, there's so many things I couldn't have done without putting her in there, and she's very, very clearly on show. And I think that's going to be difficult. If you could all just like imagine putting all of your mum's secrets on show. Yeah.
I think my mum would be
I think my mum secretly is. But I promised her a facelift. I'm like, look, if I earn enough money off of this,
yeah, when you make it big,
I'll send you to Thailand. But she's like, you live in Beverly Hills. I'm like, yeah, but you're going to Thailand.
Yeah, so, I think, my mum, a couple of episodes I've been speaking to like photographers, and they're talking about like family portraits and stuff, and I mentioned the picture that she made us all take when we're on matching outfits. Me and all my cousins are like standing, and the other day she was like, that's been 2 episodes now that you've slagged my picture off. This is the third time.
You should put that up. Could you please put that up? Is it around?
Yeah, well, no, that was just her talking to me, but me slagging her off.
But the picture, can I put it on my Instagram? Come on.
Wait, I'm going to ask her if she still has it. If she does, I'm going to post it on Instagram.
Please do it.
Because it's us all in matching, I think we're in jeans and like white t-shirts, and like there's like some wee burns on somebody's shoulder, and I've got a pink streak in my hair. It's so bad. See, when you see pictures, like it was like a 13th birthday popped up on my Facebook, and all these girls, I'm like, I didn't look that good now.
Like, I could not get that blue eyeshadow to stay on there all day now.
Oh my god.
Are they making it differently?
Like they literally look better than me, and they're like 13. I was like big curtains, like clips in my hair, pink streaks, weird matching.
I looked like a golf club. I was straight up and down, quite lanky anyway, and I was like golf club and buck teeth. Got these pushed back, would you believe?
Yeah, I had the braces and
yeah, not a good look. But what age did you start going out at? Like when you shouldn't have been? Because I was about 15. Yeah, going to clubs, so we couldn't have looked that bad.
Never clubs. We were like, my mum's gonna be the age of this day. We were like in the park.
I did that too, but I had to how did you get away with things? I got away with them because I had a gran who was like extremely lax, and my mum trusted her mum, so I'd be, I'm at gran's, and I'd go home every hour and phone my mum because she demanded it. She's like, phone me every hour.
So you had to go home every hour?
I said I had to go, and I used to sprint home. That's why I was so skinny. That's why I can run marathons now. I was like sprinting home. My gran's like, are you just in the end bedroom? I'm like, yeah, I'm being very quiet. I'm just going to phone mum. And then the last phone call at like 11 o'clock, right, mum, I'm going away to bed now. Put the phone down. I'm out until 2 a.m, but I'm only 14. And you're like, I would never let that happen to my children, but I would, because I would 100% trust my mum with my kids. Yeah. My mum trusted her mum. Her mum was just a bit dopey. So how did you get away with it?
I was always staring at my friends. And I was with those people. Yeah. Like, I wasn't like it with like weirdos. Like, I was with those people.
Say sorry to your mum.
I know, she's actually going to be ready, because she listened to this at work as well.
Oh god.
But yeah, probably like 14, 15 when we used to raid the drink cabinet and pour in the water.
Remember doing that? Yes!
My mum had this litre of vodka that was like 90% water, I swear. And you would pour the water and it would go all funny.
Yeah,
and
you
like,
shake it. Oh god, but did you used to go down to all of your friends' houses, so you'd all put into the bottle sort of thing?
And it used to be like a big bottle, and it would be like amaretto, like Disaronno, gin, everything. Just take a wee bit of everything so no one would notice.
We didn't have as much of that. Like, there was no alcohol in my house growing up, so I couldn't. So what I used to do was skim the change 20 pence at a time for my 2 litre bottle of cider, and we used to bunce together to get this guy called Bill to go in. He used to come out the bookies religiously at dinner time on a Friday, and we'd be like, Bill! I don't even know if his name was Bill, but like Cider Santa would come out, and we'd be like, we'll give you £2 more if you go in and get us some Strongbow, or what was it, White Lightning and a Quenchy. Don't forget the Quenchy or we'll all die. And he used to do it religiously every week. So
who were these people that were like getting children?
No, children. Could you imagine? Would you do it?
No,
I wouldn't. I couldn't.
I'd feel so bad. But then, like, as you're saying, if you had kids, like, could you tell them no, you can't do that because we did it?
Yeah, like,
my
could
you be
would
like
be straight on their butts?
I'd feel so bad being like, you better not. But
my mum used to. She didn't drive until a few years ago. She used to sort of get friends, rope friends into driving her around all of the shops in Dundee that I might be hanging out at to see, and like scissor kick the cider out of my hand, drag me back home.
Really?
We had to get, like, me and my friends had to get very creative, like, right, we're going to have to hide under a bush about 4 miles from here, or Max's mum is going to ruin this whole weekend. So no, I would have to, I will, if I ever had children, I would have to be like my mum. But you would have to turn a blind eye at some point. If they're home at, you tell them to come in at 9 and they come in at 10, I just pretend I was sleeping because I can't be bothered fighting with them for an hour. They were late, but I would then sniff their breath.
See, I don't think I ever got caught.
Oh, well done.
Maybe I did. I don't know.
You're too drunk to not ask your mum at the same time as apologising.
But it is mad the things you do. We used to do that, hiding the stuff in bushes, and then there was one time nobody could find it. We were like crawling through, like trying to find this. It was like some woods.
Army crawling through.
Like someone forgot where they put it.
They would be like annihilated in Dundee. You forgot where you put it.
I can't even remember if we ever did find it. I don't think so.
Oh, crushing.
We've had that.
We were, But yeah, look at us all responsible business owners now. Well done to us.
And I've seen some people who like weren't allowed to drink until they were like 18, and then they go off the rails because it's like you've not been allowed to. But by the time we were 18 and going out, I was like, like
a little bit.
It's just no as like the big like, oh my god, I can go out because you're like, I've been doing
this for quite a while now. I haven't been out for sort of months, maybe years. Like I've had the odd night out. But do you remember the sort of FOMO you used to get? I don't think I stayed in one weekend throughout my 20s.
Yeah, I remember like if we weren't going out, I'd be like, oh my god, my life is so boring. Like I'm like wasting my life. And now I would so much rather like have folk round and drink in the house where it's like warm. Than have to spend a £5 for like a vodka.
And you can go to bed.
Yeah, you can wear your jammies.
Do you think that like the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world, they spent their 20s, now I'm not saying they didn't have fun, I think he was probably drunk, right? But did they dedicate their 20s to growing businesses and doing things that we just didn't we didn't know we were capable of it, didn't know it was an option? Or is it that we just didn't care, we didn't look for it? Like, I wonder how some people end up, millionaires or billionaires or just very successful, not even just financially, in their 20s, and I was a riot. Like, I was a mess.
See, I'm not that bad. Like, I've kind of already sort of calmed down, and I'm like...
How old are you?
24, 25.
Oh, you're perfect. Teach us.
But, no, I'm like... But yeah, if you've committed that... Like, I obviously have my business now, but I'm not running it like a Mark Zuckerberg. Like, I'm like, oh, it's the weekend, like, I'm not working. Like, like I'm like the most... Like, I'm not totally in it like they are, but it must be hard when you're... I wouldn't imagine he's got much fun.
A walking hormone. How do you dedicate your time to something like that? It's amazing. I think it really is.
Yeah, I think it's like a certain type of person.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like the American sort of... Like, we're having too much fun with it.
I'll have a child in the name of science, grow it up in America, grow up in America with another family, get it back when it's 18 and just be like, how did you do? Like, what?
Because I think they do have really different lives, like people growing up in America.
Completely different. And, you know, because I've sort of witnessed both sides of it. I live in Beverly Hills now, or Beverly Hills adjacent, and I have lived in sort of Mobile, Alabama, and, you know, New Orleans, and so I've kind of understand the there's a massive difference between those states and the people that are in them. And in Beverly Hills, could you imagine saying to your mum when you were 15, it's fine, I'll Uber home, or you're not going to take me, I'll just get a taxi off my own phone, off my own app, off the money you've given me? My mum would punch me. Like, I've told you you're not going out sort of thing. That doesn't seem to be such a thing. They're a little more mollycoddled than we are. They aren't exposed to the same sort of, like, you know, there's a meme on Instagram just now, and it's like, you know, how do we get what we want? It's a dad, I assume, holding sort of biscuits out to the young kid, and you go to say, well, the kid should say, please, can I have a biscuit, please? And the kid says, I'm offended, because you can pretty much get anything you want in America at the moment, or achieve a certain outcome by saying, well, I'm offended by that. Well, I've got a massive problem with that. I've got this PC thing that we're entering into. I don't mean this Me Too movement sort of with that, because whilst it's sort of running riot just now, it will self-correct and we will get to sort of an equilibrium there, I think. I'm very much for that. We have been unfairly cheated. That's not the movement I'm talking about. I'm talking about all the other bullshit, that you're not allowed to say certain things, make certain jokes. Everyone's offended by everything. Everyone's offended by everything, and it's one surefire way to get attention, and you know, and to try and push an outcome is to say, well, I'm offended by that. Well, take yourself off somewhere else, away from my channel, away from my whatever it is. I've got a bit of a problem with that. You've got to worry about every single thing you say. And I don't get it. And I don't think that's not a Scottish thing. There are very few Scottish people that I hear go, I'm so offended by that. I think, do you sort of notice the differences, like when you're over in Beverly Hills? I have to tightly edit my jokes in America, or I would be socially exiled. There's zero place for the C word in America, but I use it frequently with my closest friends, and honestly, that's my closest friends, top 5. And it still took them a while to be like, okay, she doesn't mean it the way we know it. It's just, I never get culture. Why is that such a... It's such a versatile word. And in Scotland, you know, we use it for everything. It's being a cunt, she's a cunt, it's a great cunt. Like, it's such a great word. But it's like, why give like a word so much power to be so offended by it? Like, when people, oh my god, like, why? It's a word, it's like not got a life of its own. No. You're fully, you know, you have the command of the English language. Let's use that word. No, it's just the way it should be used. Like just being so offended. It must be so exhausting, just being so offended by everything. Do you not think it must be? How nice is it to laugh at something somebody said, even if it's not in line with your views? Sometimes like somebody will say something that's a bit like, ooh, but it's like, oh, exactly. It's still funny. Frankie Boyle. You know what I mean? You can go and watch him and go, oh, I can't believe he's just said that. But you don't. But I'm never offended. There are some things, you know, if you're Catholic, and I'm not an atheist, but if you watch Ricky Gervais and you hear him talk about that, is it offensive? No, it's just his point of view, and it's got a clever comical spin on it, and it doesn't have to be offensive. You can just listen. Like even like I can't think of anything that would like offend me. No, really. There's zero that offends me. Because it's not a personal attack. Like him saying a joke is not like attacking you. Like I don't know. Like I think sensitivity is being allowed to run riot at the moment, and it should be quashed quickly. We should not be that sensitive. People growing up, their lives are going to be so boring. Like see when you look back and some of the things that like happened, or like people that you like, came across in life, it's like that was mental. You have all these mental stories, like I'm sure are all in the book. It's like imagine not having that because everyone's been so polite, nice and correct, and you can't say anything. No. Ugh. God, that would be awful. Don't paint that picture. We don't. No, I wouldn't. I'm not built for a world like that. No. I have a very sick sense of humour. But even, you know, in situations like this, I will still edit somewhat and hold back because I will admit there are different times and circumstances where you shouldn't joke as openly as you will. Like, and that's just the way of it.
Yeah.
But in America,
you just can't.
I can almost not talk. My way of just talking is a bit much in America.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you have to kind of...
I have to be a lot quieter than this.
Really?
I speak, I try to speak somewhat articulate. I can't even say the word. Articulately. I try to be somewhat coherent, but I don't add in much humour. I just can't. And I it's not for lack of trying. I've tried, and people get offended, and I just have to understand. Okay, well, that's the culture, and that's the way it is.
It's annoying though.
And you know, imagine being a business owner. Now, not in my sort of business, because humour rarely comes into happen.
Yeah.
But imagine being a business owner, Scottish. You know, we do have this great sick sense of humour, dry, and trying to translate that to an international market. And you probably would garner a lot of business in Scotland just by being yourself and being dry and getting us on board, because I think we can be sort of brought along for the ride just by watching people be themselves. It's very difficult to build a business internationally that way unless you're down in Australia. They do have a similar sort of sense of humour. But in America, just you have to fathom a whole new way to be.
I don't think I don't think this would never translate. I don't think.
You don't think?
I don't think so. I don't know, because I'm very much myself, like here on social media and stuff, and I don't think it would.
You don't?
I don't know.
Would you give it a try?
Maybe. I worry myself, like, oh my god, should I like tone it down a wee bit and like calm down it? But then people are like, oh my god, I love hearing like local accents. I get that all the time. And I was so worried about that to start with, because I've got like a real Fife accent. Like,
I really do, but it's lovely. But it's really there.
And like when I was at uni, just over in Edinburgh, so what, like half an hour away. I'd have to like, no one could understand me.
What?
The people for Glasgow could understand me.
Yeah.
The people for Edinburgh, I have to like kind of posh it up a wee bit. And then like the overseas students,
no, not a chance.
No. But like even for Edinburgh, and I was like, what?
No, that I don't understand.
Because I think they're more well spoken, and I'm not. Like actually at all. Like it's pretty bad. But the Glaswegians were fine.
Yeah, Glaswegians. Yeah, I have the sort of opposite. So I've sort of balanced my accent somewhat. I don't have a broad Dundonian accent, not because I didn't want one, but in America I was sick of saying everything twice.
So you have to kind of
could see people their eyes glaze over, and then I just knew that what was coming, so I just talk very slowly over there and with a somewhat poshed up accent. But for my husband, he came here, he can understand most people's accent by the time I brought him here to Scotland. And then we went to Glasgow, we went to see Eminem. I don't know why I took him there. That could be why we're getting divorced. Because he's like not that sort of guy at all. But anyway, I take him there because I want to go. And we're walking by these Glaswegians, and he's Norwegian, I should point out. And he's saying to me, where are these people from? And I'm like, Glasgow. And he's like, no, they're foreign. I'm like, no, they aren't. And he's like, I can't understand them. They're foreign. And I'm like, odds, they are from Glasgow. That's a Glaswegian accent. And he's like, wow. And so, but to me, to hear that, locals in Edinburgh can understand you, that goes straight over my head. I don't understand how that's possible.
I think I just felt so out of place, because like, even though they've got a Scottish accent obviously, but it's much more well spoken.
Yeah, I suppose.
And maybe it was because it's at university and everyone's trying to kind of, I'm posh. Maybe. And then I come in like, what? What university? But I love it though. Do you have like a totally different accent when you're over there, or is it
much the same as today's?
So you kind of lost that like Dundonian?
Yeah.
Because Dundee can be a hard one sometimes.
Oh God.
You've got your own language.
We really do. We've got some great words that I try and teach everyone. Like, I've got some words that I can't help but use. I will purposely use them when I'm in America and just explain after, because there are some things you cannot say without a Dundonian word. So I'll say, greeting, and then I go, that means crying. Like, so, you know, I hit my face off the cribby, and I'm like, that's a curbside. So
what?
A cribby.
Cribby?
A cribby. That's the,
Oh
what
my
do
God.
you call it? What do you call the crib?
A curb.
The curb. Oh my God,
A
so
curb.
partially.
A curb.
A curb.
Aye, because like Kirby.
Kirby.
So what?
Cribby. We play cribby.
You play Cribby?
Cribby.
That honestly sounds like Welsh or something.
Cribby.
Oh.
We've got like Ken. I don't know how just Dundonian that is, but I use it. Well, I love hearing it. Like, do you ken?
Aye.
Do you use that?
Yeah, Ken. And like, greetings as well.
Greetings. I love that. 100%. Like,
Aye.
I'd 100 do that. I've actually got that on one of the billboards coming out. 100. Barket. She's Barket.
Nah.
It really means like you can say like the bath's Barket, clean it, or you can say she's Barket, like, and that means bad things. Or boke, take the boke, heave, dry heave, and those I love. I teach those to everyone.
Yes, yeah, I thought folk was kind of, but no, some of those ones I've never heard.
And the two other things, then I swear I'll stop talking. The two other things is that we say we'll go round the circle, the roundabout.
Roundabout, right.
I don't think that translates to the rest of Scotland. That's us. And what's the other one? Well, that's you know,
yeah.
for the main part, for the most part.
I don't know if there's any like just 5 ones. I don't know.
There's got to be.
Has to be.
And we will list them.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything. Do you say whitey?
In what capacity?
Like if you're whitey in.
Yeah, but I've only ever heard that used for somebody like that smoked and whiteyed. I've never heard.
Oh no!
I've
just
never
like
heard
if you're
it spewing.
Yeah.
Came and like I've never heard.
You would say
whiteyed.
spewing.
It's I spewed.
No, whitey.
Barfed.
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 Oh my god.
Barfed everywhere.
Nah, whitey's just like spewing.
Is it?
Yeah.
That could be, and I just don't know it.
Yeah.
Could be.
I think that I can't think. But yeah, some things I used to say over in Edinburgh, and my boyfriend worked there for a bit, and folk would be like, "What?" Like, but you think it's just a Scottish thing, but
yeah. No,
it's
there's
so
some
strange.
good ones. There really are. Like,
yeah.
and I love teaching people them. The one thing people get me to say, and like, well, now it's mainly Shrek things. Like in America, they'll say, "Oh, go and say donkey," and I'm like, "Fuck off." I'll do it though. And the other one is, "There's been a murder." People love hearing that.
There's been a murder.
They love hearing that. Anyway, I don't know what I've taught any of your listeners today, other than some really bad words. But
yeah, I want to know what everyone else. I want to know everyone's words that they say. Do you say whitey?
Do you say whitey? And what sort of situation are we talking?
Yeah, I know the situation you mean. Like if you've been smoking too much, then you whitey.
You whitey. And again, I don't, but my dad does.
No, I would just say, totally whited.
Totally right. No, we don't. Maybe we've got stronger tummies or something over there. Right? With our pies, our pez. We've just got some great words though.
Yeah, my mum has some friends in Dundee, and I mind I was at a party with them, and this guy was teaching me how to speak Dundonian.
That does sound like.
And he was saying pez. I want a pay. Twa eggs. You can say twa eggs tied up and a hunky. 2 eggs tied up and a hanky. Oh,
yeah, that's was he old?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I don't think if you're listening, but
if you are, great sense. No,
is that something? Is that
I've never heard it, but I can translate it. Do you have eggy? We can talk eggy. So you just add egg, I think, before or after every vowel. So it's like megig, negim, eggas, megax. I think it's been years since it's like a secret criminal language.
No.
We used to use it to shout that the police were around, but pego leggies or something like that. So I think the police may have cottoned on to that, but we used to scream it to one another like the police are coming in what we call eggy. So that's not Scottish, that's Dundonian.
No, I've never heard that.
Right, I wondered how many people must have turned off now listening to me ramble.
Just be talking shit
about eggy. But yeah, no, eggy's a whole language that we have.
Whoa.
I know.
Yeah, that was what you taught me. Twy eggs. Ted up and a hunky. Hunky.
Yeah, we've got a few of those. There's a whole list. I'll send it to you today.
Yeah.
There's a whole list of just Dundonian words.
It's so weird.
Mega. It's brilliant.
Yeah. So are those feature in the book?
Some of them
written in
do.
Dundonian?
So my proofreader for this book, his name was Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Nick at Foolproof, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He is English, I think.
Right. Okay.
And he was coming back to me saying, I don't know what this means, this isn't right, what do you mean here? Because I'd written something out in the book. There's a story about me and a man in a wheelchair. I'm gonna let you read that for yourself.
Yeah, I'm
it's
excited.
embarrassing.
I'm excited to read that.
It's gonna pay me as a monster. But anyway, just know at the end he got the last laugh. So and I said he really took a loan of me.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, in Dundee at least we would say he took a len of us. That's just what we say. And I said, so I thought, okay, len must translate to loan in you know, non-colloquial English. He took a loan of me, and he's like, that's not a sentence. I'm like, it fucking is, keep it in.
Hi.
This is for a Scottish audience. And there was a few other ones. He's like, a chap to the door. He's like, what's a chap? I'm like, what do you think a chap is? Well, I'm not going to spit on the door. I'm not like front rolling into the door. A chap is a trap. It's a knock.
Aye.
He's like, shoot. And I made like, I'm not sure that he was my people. I made like a Game of Thrones reference in there somewhere. I can't remember what it was. And he's like, I don't get this. I'm like, well, I'm like, you know when you have to write an email but leave it for half an hour. That was me. I was like, well, just fucking watch TV. And I was like, well, Nick, it's actually from Game of Thrones. So yeah,
that must be so hard then, because obviously it is catered for a Scottish audience.
I think Northern England will get the gist of it.
Yeah.
I think London will not know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm. So was it being released down there or just up here?
No, I mean you can actually. I suppose you can
just buy it
anywhere. The plan is to, if I can get this book released, because I need to get it off my computer. If I can get it out by this Friday, it will be released on Amazon. I made last minute changes, and that really held up the progress that I was having with Waterstones and all of those stores. I had to go back to the start of that sort of whole process. So it will probably be out in bookstores in like January, February time. That's the hope. But as from Friday, you can buy it on Amazon.
So is that a hard process getting it into shops and stuff? I imagine that's like a whole thing.
It's a selective process, so you send to, I think it's Garner's and Nelson. Those are the two that I'm remembering. You do it alongside them. There are different components you need from each. Mash them together, and I think you send a copy off to, I think it'll be Garner's.
Right.
And they process it, and it gets read, and if it gets read, it gets picked up. Now mine was fine, and then I was like, I need to make changes, then the process goes back to the start.
Right, okay.
So that's what's happened to me, and it was a choice between, okay, do you want to keep the book as is, and I just thought, well, no, because it's going to be available worldwide online anyway. That's, you know, we have that facility, so I'll quite happily forgo them being released in tandem to have that sort of juxtaposed release. So that's where we are just now.
So excited.
Are you gonna read it? Are you gonna talk to me after?
No, I'm actually so excited. I'm gonna buy it. I'm so excited.
Oh, God. But yeah,
so that's so scary, like knowing it's going to be out there in the world.
And I can't take it back. You know, that's mind blowing to me, and just, but one of those things, I might be sitting here in 10 years going, here's how it changed my life. And there will be good and there will be bad. That just goes without saying. I will hopefully, you know, be of mind to take the good and grasp that, and sort of not ignore the bad. You can't ignore it, but just not let it consume me. And so let me come back to you in a year, 5 years, 10 years, and say, okay, you remember that time I rambled to you for an hour about a book? Well, here's what stemmed from that.
That's so exciting.
because that's how it goes. So yeah.
So do you think you'll do like more books in the future? Is that sort of the plan? Or?
No, it's definitely not. I've flirted and I'm flirting with the idea of doing a sort of a guide to surviving adulthood, because my 20s were wild, to me anyway, they were. But one, I'll see how the first book does, and two, I actually just want to get into writing now. I want to, I'm writing a script at the moment for the, it's based on the Scottish legal system,
right?
And so I'm writing that at the moment, and I'm looking to Los Angeles and London and some places in Scotland for writing jobs. That's kind of where I want to go next. And again, I'll take every opportunity that comes, and I'll ask for help, and I'll probably and hopefully receive help from people without asking, and I'll latch onto that too, and I'll keep in the back of my mind that okay, I can do this because this is the goal I've set for myself. And there's zero holding me back at this point. I may be in jail come Saturday for some of the things in this book that I've admitted to, but pending that, there is just nothing to sort of hold me back from at least trying. And that's where we are just now. But it'll be there for the world to see the success and the failures that come with this, because I don't hold back on my Instagram. The Facebook's a different beast for me. I've been off of it for so long. I just put my Facebook back on to sort of bolster this sale. I don't understand it. I'm not very good at Facebook. Whereas Instagram,
there's a whole different there's a whole different like lot of people in there.
There really is. I wonder, like, it seemed like people an older generation sort of encroached onto Facebook, and it then became less cool. I don't know if that's still the case, but when I came off 2015, that was the case. But Instagram still, it's still holding strong, and it's invaluable to me, and I'm truly just myself on there. It's very lightly edited. You do a lot of stories and stuff, and it's just like totally you. It's completely, I'm exactly the same, and I'm not really scared to be that. So any success or failure from this will be shown on there. I don't have I can't sit here preaching that you should take every opportunity and put yourself out there and then not do it. So you will see. That's so good though. I think that's what people like they like to see you being authentic, and I no one wants someone just to say like, oh, I'm just going so perfectly. My Instagram life is beautiful, really edited, and like some of the things I put on there, I'm like, why would anyone care? Like literally, why would anyone care? But like, I'm just like, I'll put it out there. But it really, and I think people love that. I love watching that. I love watching that content, that sort of authentic content. I quite often tell people to skip by my stories. I'm like, look, we're going on a rant here. Just start skipping now. Just in fact, go to the next person's story. And some people do. Some people take my word and they go off when you see the dip. When you see them like all start and then it just dwindles, and it's just my mum left at the end from the 17,000 before to my mum, and then she just phones me and goes, well, that wasn't good, was it? So I love that though. Like it's usually that stuff that gets the most like people talking and engagement, and when you think what no one's going to care. Well, a great sort of example at the moment is Lewis Capaldi. You go into his Instagram, he's been completely himself. That is genuine, or it seems so, and if not, then it's like good act. An Oscar, and he's been and there's nothing more endearing than seeing that, and I suppose that could be translated to proper businesses just telling us, oh my god, my fridge broke down today and I'm having a bad day, and you're not going to get your cakes. I bet I would go into your store right then and there for the coffee, because that's that human nature. You want to sort of, okay, let me come and help you. You're having a bad day, okay. I don't want to just see that you're perfect and like you're editing yourself, and it's like you're trying to be really professional. Like I'm like the least professional. You cannot be any less professional than me. So I had a rant the other day on Instagram about Morrison's changing a pizza that I actually I was actually so devastated that I was like, right, I'm actually have to go on Instagram. I was like tagging Morrison's like, you've ruined my life. I did that last night with Apple, so I've seen that actually. I was raging and I had to take it down today because that was one of those things. So I say lightly edited. I said, and it was like sort of off the cuff remark. I said something about the guy, he must have been snacking because he was walking towards me with a smile, and it wasn't fucking good news. And obviously he was chubby, rotund, But I was like, Max, maybe not. Maybe that's not the best thing to put there. So, but I would happily say that in front of my family. And again, I think that's sort of what the book portrays as well. There are certain things that should be kept within your family that you hope your daughter does not put in a book. Like, there are certain things that you just say within the comfort of your own home that you think everyone is saying, and everyone is not saying those things. And Instagram for me is kind of me trying to traverse that. Does everyone think this? Have I gone too far? Yes. Okay, I'm going to take that down, but most of it stays. Do you do that? Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, do I need to say this? And I'm like, no, don't say it. Let's not. I'm trying to like run some kind of business.
But I would just like to point out that Apple are agents of Satan, and it's the consequence of my own actions. I spilled water onto my computer, but I went to them and they could have got the day off, and I'm like, I'm in the middle of a book release, I need the fucking book. But that was on the inside. On the outside, I'm like, hi, I really need your help. And they're like, yeah, we can get that off for you, but it'll cost you £2,000. And I'm saying, okay, fine, but I need that data now, and also I don't actually care about the computer. Can you get it off
a new one for that?
Exactly. It was 2017 MacBook Pro. Like, I'll get another one. And he said, yeah, we can get it off, but it'll take 8 days. And I said, I don't need a thing on this computer after Wednesday. I can rebuild the rest of it. All of my sort of hacking software is open source. I don't need it. But this book I need before Wednesday, please, thank you, dear Lord, let it be. And God. He's like, it's going to take 8 days. It's going to cost you £2,000. And I'm saying, fuck off. So then he sends me to On Track. I say to On Track, what can you do? They're like, we can get it to you by Wednesday. Same story. And so now I was just like, I basically what I'm doing when I leave here today is retyping this book that I've got in hard copy.
Oh my god.
To send it to printers by tomorrow. It's 300 pages long. So wish me luck.
Oh, at least you've got a hard copy. Oh my
god. Oh my god, I couldn't.
So was it nowhere else? Like
no, and my god,
job, different hard drive.
I know, why didn't I have this backed up?
Oh my god.
I actually do have it. Okay, so just so people don't think I'm a total tit, I do have it backed up. It's in Los Angeles. I'm trying to get it sent to me, but it would not have got here by before Tuesday. And then I'm like, well, I will have this typed by Tuesday. And what if it didn't arrive? And I hadn't started the typing, so there was a lot of that.
Oh my god.
I know. Wish me
It'll all be fine.
It'll all be fine.
On Friday.
You see me like scoring out the dates on billboards, not the 29th, 30th. Then you know why. But yeah,
god.
So that's up to now.
So that's where we are. I feel like we went totally off tangent there.
I know, sorry.
No, that was good. I like that. That was fun. I'm trying to think if I've got anything else to chat to you about. I think that was me.
I think I've covered it all.
Yeah, I think we've
probably
got it.
Too much.
No, definitely not too much.
But no.
So, a wee section that I've got called Check Them Out.
Oh.
We're here, so you need to...
God.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh no.
So,
okay.
You could just do a couple, or you could do as many as you want. Any small businesses, anybody that's helped you, anything, you can shout out anyone.
Let me try.
Yeah, take your time as well.
Good Lord, if I forget somebody I know and more importantly like. Okay, I have had a sort of overwhelming amount of support from a lady. She will kill me for calling her a lady, a girl called Nadine Farker. I've known her from I was very young, and I rarely see her, but she's got hairdressers and it's called Farker. God, I don't know what it's called. Nadine Farker. I think it's like Farker hair. Yeah,
right, I'll find that.
Barry Patterson. He's a tattoo artist and a very good artist in Dundee. I think it's Barry Patterson Art on Instagram. A phenomenal drawer. He offered me help. He offered me help with a studio and a place to film and things like that. Check them out. Hope you can edit my pauses.
Yeah, this is my fault because I was meant to say to you that I was going to do this and I forgot.
The one person that I would like to mention, they are a business because they're trying to be their own business. Billy Mitchell. He's a young guy from Dundee and he's been at it for years trying to breakthrough, and he's had some success as a singer and songwriter. So I think if I could mention him, because it's still a business, you know, it's still
totally
trying to make some money and give us some good things to listen to.
Okay, hi, it's me. This 100% was my fault because I did not prep Maxie on this. So, oops, sorry. A couple more people that she wanted to add are MPS, which is McGee Plastering Service, and also Camfab, which is Andy Cameron's Fabrication. So I will tag those two along with everyone else that she mentioned. Okay, back to the episode. Bye! Amazing. So the last thing, this is an easy one. My last segment is for you to plug yourself. So where can we find you on Instagram? When's the book out? Where can we find it?
Something I can do, and I bet you I fuck this up. Okay, so you can find me on Instagram. I'm very active on there at Maxie.Reynolds. You can find me on Facebook too, but I'm less active. I don't understand it. The book is hopefully released this Friday, the 29th of November. To start with, you can buy it on Amazon. You should just be able to type it in there. All things being fair and equal, type it into Amazon, it shall appear. And it's also available Kindle. We're looking into the audio version, but would you really want to listen to this for 300 pages? Yes. Absolutely not.
Oh my god, I would.
Just me greeting into my mic. So, and I will put on my Instagram when it's available in Waterstones.
Yeah, that'll be exciting.
So yes, but thank you so much for having me
God,
and allowing me to just sort of...
No, it's actually been such a fun episode, and thank you for being my guinea pig and letting me film this as well.
I'm trying to just get out of frame further and further. I think you got it's not, I'm whiter than Casper, and I'm pretty much see-through Scottish complexion for you. But yeah, no, really, thank you
so much. And if you're listening and not watching us, remember, go to YouTube. Everybody.
Oh God.
There's a cute dog here now, so that's
actually, if we could we should have just put it on her.
Yeah, we should have just had you lying in your bed.
She is very cute.
Aww. No, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much.
It's been so great speaking to you.
And I'll send you a copy. So
No.
I want to be here for about 2 hours. Okay, fine. I will sign it.
Oh my god,
so that it's worth absolutely zero.
Oh my god, I'm going to be worth millions. 10 years time.
Iranian dollars.
I'll be flogging it.
Back to me. You're going to have to pay me for this piece of shit. No, it's really good. Read it.
Yeah, no, definitely read it. And check Maxie out on Instagram. Check out the stories.
Oh god,
this is just for the stories before she deletes them.
Oh god, yes. Try that.
No, thank you so much for listening, and I will speak to you next week. Bye. Thank you for listening to this episode of Mind Your Business. If you're not already, be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter at Mind Your Business Podcast for updates on future guests and behind the scenes look at what we've been chatting about in this episode. See you next week.